Action.
One of the more interesting, kind of like sub-stories of Mount St. Helens was that who owns the 1,300 feet that blew off the top of Mount St. Helens? Well, curiously enough, it's owned by Great Northern Railroad. So why? Well, I called up Great Northern I told them about my picture and stuff. They said, forget about this. We don't want anybody to know this. Well, what happened was in the 1860s, when the railroad companies built across the United States, everybody knew that the government gave them every other parcel so they could pay for the act. What nobody told anybody, what kind of got lost, was they also gave them the tops of mountain peaks going through the Rockies so that they use them for surveying points, and that's how. These are just stupid little stories, and they're kind of fun, and you're sitting in hotel rooms, got nothing else to do. In the case of Mount St. Helens, one of the more interesting things is there's a character by the name of John Marshall. I believe that's his name. He's on the internet now. And John was hired to go along with me and carry things, I guess. What John didn't understand was that he tells a little story about how I kind of slugged my way up the hill and stayed under the trees, and he dashed back and forth as the first day. And what he didn't understand was that the Park Service told me that if I got caught up there, they would, by helicopter, they'd take me off the mountain when I climbed up to Lang Point. So having John dash around and look like a red flag, I figured if they didn't see him, they were never going to find me. But the mountain, Mount St. Helens, was an interesting event because I wasn't supposed to be there, according to my handlers at the Geographic. So, consequently, when I got back to the Geographic, as John Marshall tells the story how they used his photograph. What he didn't understand was they fired me. So they gave me back the before shot in a meeting with the gentleman I won't name, but he was supposed to be the man to give me the bad news when most of the times when I was at the Geographic. And I said, "Well, hey Tom, you can give me this picture laying on the table?" "Yes, Mike, take it, go away." Well, I was supposed to be mad. So what I did was I took it up to Discover Magazine, and this was the first issue of Discover Magazine. I laid it on the table and I said, "This needs an aftershot. Everybody knows that. And here's what I'll do. I'll shoot the aftershot for nothing but expenses. All you have to do is you have to publish it on this date." And they said, "You own this thing?" "Yes," I said, "I own this thing." "Okay, why this date?" "Oh, not for you to know the reason why, just for you to do it that way or else." So I shot the aftershock, and they published it. What they didn't know was I knew when the Geographic was going to publish. We did this 60 days in advance, so the gentleman that had given me the picture back, I was in my little bedroom in California at 7 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and he called up and he says, "Mike, you were right, and we want to buy this back." And I says, "Okay, Tom, what are you going to pay?" And he says, $1,200. And I says, "Oh, that's not good enough, Tom. I want 50,000." And he says, "Well, Mike, we don't pay that kind of money. What are you going to do?" And I says, "I'm going to pass. What are you going to do, Tom?" And I hung up on him. In any event, at the time I had my agent was a very attractive young woman by the name of Paula Ahalt. And Paula was the girlfriend of David Kennerly at the time, Ford's photographer. And this was Friday, and by Sunday, Paula had heard that Bill Garrett was cursing me at the top of his lungs at a party, and
Sorry. Bill Garrett.
Bill Garrett was cursing me at the top of his lungs, and so I sent Paula in the next day, Monday, and she negotiated a deal. I cut back on the $50,000 to $5, and but like they usually did, as Bill was escorting her to the elevator, as the door closed, he says, "Well, tell Michael never to come back." Okay, fired me for the fourth or fifth time. The problem was that my images weren't easy to publish in the Geographic.